Good morning and welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. Am I live? Is this working?
Yep.
Okay, so it's working. I had to make sure. Bender's not here, so I had to go ahead and do all the technicalities myself. But today is July 13th, 2023. How are we, everybody? We got Stonk, we got Sun. How's it going, fellas?
It's good. You did this?
I did this.
Wow.
Are we not impressed?
I am thoroughly impressed.
I am too. It's going to be interesting when I have to go ahead and switch it to whoever's screen needs to be shared. We still have to get over that hurdle, but let's get into some of the overnight news, if you will. Looks like the China economy continues to slow, but that didn't keep their market from popping. Japan was up massively also. Everything, all the topic in conversation right now is how, the inflation story is no longer really a story. How does that make you feel, guys? You feel good? You feel good that it's no longer a story?
I mean, every time I go to Costco, shit's more expensive. So...
well, obviously you're lying because the data is saying that that's not true. It's weird that how that is, because it's I guess last week before last, I was grocery shopping and I'm sitting here looking at everything going like, this is not, I don't know what's going on. I don't know how everything is still as expensive as it was, but yet this picture is pulling back. And I think we're seeing that in a lot of the different markets, and from housing to the used car market, to how we continue to see, data coming out as far as how travel is still really, really strong. But one thing is for sure, Stonkington, if you have AI on your side, you are unstoppable. At least your stock price is for now. So really, all in all, the job numbers came in pretty good. Everything pretty much came in the way it was supposed to, give or take. We are having yet another little gap up. If we're looking at, and I'm sure you'll go through this a little bit, but looking like, we have another short-term rising wedge that may need to correct a little bit. Maybe you got a smash burger in you here or there somewhere. But before we do that, Sonny, what do you have going on?
Morning, everyone. Upgrades, quite a few of them. BCRX, that's a bio. DPZ, ICPT, Meta, Snow, TMO. Nice upgrades and price target raised. TMO was raised to 620, and Meta price target's been raised to 345. On the downgrades, we have Coin, CVNA, and CVNA has done quite a bit after hitting that high of 44 yesterday. I think it was, last I checked, down to 36 this morning with some big volume to the downside. Other downgrades are CYRX, IONQ, SMG, and the Roadhouse favorite, SoFi.
Yeah, SoFi took it in the face pretty good. I didn't read what was the downgrade about.
Morgan Stanley downgrades to underweight from equal weight, price target 7. Kind of like they raised their price target because it was 650, now it's 7, but they're underweight. Equal.
Interesting. Netflix got an upgrade also, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think they're banking more on, with the password enforcement. Their ER is gonna be solid.
Yeah, that one continues to be an interesting one to me, because it's like, I guess they don't necessarily have to show any type of user growth if they're going to be able to exert pricing power. Is that about right? And
Well,
it'll
it's
be
yeah. I mean, it's also the whole advertising platform. They get more advertisers that all they have to do is just put some numbers out on it.
right, right. All right. You got anything else?
Oh yeah, on the news side, so Barrick Gold says they're on track to hit full year gold and copper production guidance. So that was interesting. We did see some flow into GDX and other gold names the other day. Google has launched their AI bot in Europe, Brazil, and 40 different languages. A couple of days ago, they were talking about how they had put everything on hold and Google had gotten some downside. I think it was data last week. But this, they kind of flipped it. Google got some nice volume and popped this morning about 120. And the other AI news was Meta plans to release the commercial version of their AI to startups and small businesses so they can create their own bots and use it, create custom software that can work with, Facebook and other business websites. Trade Desk is to replace ATVI in the NASDAQ 100 index. ATVI, getting bought out by Microsoft. That's probably the catalyst for it. One thing we did notice last week was how the home builders were getting price target upgrades, things like that. So in the background, what I think we kind of missed is the mortgage companies going up, RKT, UWM, TREE, they're all up. But Rugged was up almost 20% last week, was this week actually. UWM was up 15%. And we did see some flow into free yesterday. Microsoft, couple of news on that. So Microsoft yesterday came out with manageable threat software management, security software built into their Azure cloud. So the market is thinking downside for EA&W, Crowd, ZS. They did see some downside yesterday, but a little bit of recovery. I'll definitely watch that if Microsoft puts out more news on it. And FTC is going after Microsoft again this time, trying to say, hey, we need to look at all your documentation and money that you put into OpenAI.
Mm-hmm.
The second case FTC has opened against Microsoft, I think after losing out on Microsoft and the ATV deal, they are going after this one again. BA? Yeah, so BA rumor is like the China Civil Aviation Administration chief met with the BA executives. The purpose of this could be, and this is, the timing is kind of curious because this is after Yellen's visit. And the 737 MAX is still not certified for flight in China. So keep an eye on the BA if any news pops up.
Yeah, BA looks like it's on its way to that 30 mark. It really looks like it wants it to make that push one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's like it seems fairly inevitable that that's going to happen sooner rather than later, barring some type of a headline. But even when they headline it, they snap it back up really quick. Weren't their deliveries like not all that great?
Yeah, deliveries weren't all that great, but there were a couple of news articles that attached with it, potential orders and things like that, and it got a nice pump the other day. I think it was Monday.
I remember that because it's like they came in, their deliveries were light, so there was a red candle, and then it seemed like an hour and a half later, it was like, no, we gotta push this back the other way. Another headline, another that says, oh no, everything's great, everything appears to be like so. It seems like no matter what right now, the market is being moved by whatever news item that can be put out there. I think when you look at
I think things that have been choppy, they kind of trying to push them up.
Mm-hmm.
BA was stuck in a range for a bit, and they're going to use after the Paris Air Show. They used it dipped because was the other company, Airbus kind of took that 500 plane deal away from BA. It dipped quite a bit, and that was a dip to buy, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on the last one is Tesla. So they're back to talking with the Indian government about opening up a factory up there with the annual capacity of 500,000 cars. And the reason they want to do that is because it's a nice central hub for
Mhm.
them to export from there both to the Middle East and the Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Having ports on both sides, quite a big port, and that's a pretty large shipping lane out there. So that kind of helps them. Whereas, like if you look at China and the other countries, you can only go in one direction unless you want to spend months with the cars sitting on the ships going, through the channels. So this could be good for them if this works.
All right. Well, there you have it. Everything is rosy. Lots of roses. Very rosy. Stockington, what do you have for us?
All right. Moment of truth. Can we do a screen share?
Man, it's
Here
like,
it comes. I'm asking for it.
let's see. Let's see if what happens here.
Remote into his computer.
The screen. Yeah. This is good. Man, I drag to reorder. Don't want to do that. This is okay. Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Right.
Here we go.
we've got it.
I
Okay.
have
It's not showing
mastered
up.
the
It's not
interwebs
showing up on
officially.
YouTube yet.
Oh, you guys can't see this?
What, they can't see
It's
it on
not-
YouTube?
Not yet. No.
What?
It looks like it's working.
It looks like it's working on our side when we look at it, but I don't see it on YouTube.
Let's see. How about if I hit that?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's there.
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Well
There
done.
we go.
All right. He did it. Okay. So let's get into some of this stuff. Yes, we do have a potential smash burger on the table here. Again, reminder that this is basically a failed breakout. So it would be a short setup if it's going to play out on the SPY. We would be looking for, because we closed above, yesterday was Wednesday. So because we closed above Tuesday's high, we would be looking for a short below yesterday's low. But again, I mean, Tuesday closed above Monday's high, and we never broke Tuesday's low yesterday. So, but this is the setup. So this is your entry and this is your stop. If you're going to follow a Mr. Larry Williams on his smash day setup, his theory or whatever you want to call it. So let's see. Get rid of it, clean this up because it's also there on the cues. Get rid of this.
Those gaps look really healthy over there. They look really good. Like really something that should be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. So same thing. This would be a short setup on the cues. If we broke yesterday's low, that would be your entry, and yesterday's high would be your stop. If you were going to be following Mr. Larry Williams, this would be kind of the setup there. So that is in the table, on the whatever you want to say. Yeah, it's out there. It could happen. So we'll just have to kind of see how things play out. But one thing we do also have today is a big ER coming up at the end of the day is going to be Delta. And we know what that means. I think it's time for The Price is Right. Today on the docket for Mr. Delta, we've got for Amazon Prime Day, we've got a book.
Ooh.
Keep in mind, this could be on sale. It's Prime Day for Delta. How to control your foot fetish desire. Someone might need that one.
Wow.
Yeah. We got to help our boy Delta out.
Wow.
Might need that one. Got to be careful out there. No guesses rolling in. Nobody wants this.
Wow. I'm thinking $1 million.
That's a valuable book, right? If you can get.
I think that this is. I don't think that you could possibly pay enough in order to help somebody like the Delta.
I
Delta,
mean-
would you care to throw out a number? What would this be worth to you?
Is he even here? Doesn't look like he's even here. Well.
I think he's
nobody wants-
responding to it
Oh
on
no,
YouTube.
no. He's saying that he wrote the book,
Oh.
so it's his book.
So we're paying him.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm going
Well-
to double it then. I'm going to say $2 million for this.
Straight back in his pocket. We've got a winner here. It's going to be Ducky. This is a free book on Kindle. I think you can pay $4.99 if you really wanted it.
I'm glad
All
I
right.
lost on that one.
All right. I guess let's see. We don't have Bender, so we can do the. I can do the ES as far as kind of what I would. We'll just go through the ES, Russell, Nasdaq kind of stuff. So let's see. Our gold boxes are going to be daily fair value gaps. So if we swap over, you can kind of see just each massive green candle. If we're thinking, the paint roller analogy, none of this. This is all basically going to be unbalanced price action because we just tore right through each green candle was just a big move up. So this created all these fair value gaps below. And then if we go all the way back over to here, we've got this area. This would have been this little volume imbalance. I think Phil was noting for us the difference between this low and that the bodies there. But basically this guy, the rest of this area is still imbalanced. If we were to go to the upside, that would give us our first target above would be this 45.62. And then if we were going to press to the downside, first we would need to break this top of the fair value gap on the daily, 45.2375. This was an important order block line, but we just kept rejecting. So if we're going to pull back, first thing I would be looking for is the reaction to 44.94. And it also appears to be right about the midpoint of this daily fair value gap, which is Mr. T usually signals is fairly important. Then if we broke that, we've got the bottom of the gap down there at 44.7850. So kind of just gonna have to see what we get. I mean, some massive moves, I guess. A little bit of chop, a little bit of consolidation would probably be reasonable. So we'll just kind of have to see what we get with flow and all that. Jump over to the Nasdaq, pretty similar. Although we already ran and filled this 4-hour fair value gap that was above. I don't have a ton above that, so I guess what we could probably do would be to throw some fibs on here with like the last pop that could help give us some lines to project to the upside. So you could kind of look for if we needed new upside targets, just based on the fibs, we could be looking at this 655.50 above. If we're going to pull back, first thing I'd be looking for would be the bottom of this fair value gap. It's going to be right.
That looks. It's not. What do you see when you see that there?
I mean, yeah, I kind of adjusted these trend lines because it's like kind of like a rising setup. I had it originally maybe something like this before I woke up today. I was looking at it like that. And now we had this pop right to the top of the fair value gap and pause. So maybe looking at something like that. It looks like a possible area we could pause. Yeah, it's this kind of rising setup. What are you thinking? What are you seeing?
No, well, it's really interesting because when you look at that trend line that you're trying to put out there, and granted it is a 4-hour chart, and then you take it and you put it up against some of these other charts, to say that it's a little bit extended and lacks structure over the last week or so, would be being kind. That's a mess. And with your fair value gaps and all of your your T crushes and all of that stuff there. It's like this that should retrace at some point to some capacity in some way, right?
I could see it. Yeah, and if you'd like to do oscillators, so it might be a little bit difficult to see down here, but this is the CCI I've mentioned on Voice a few times. I like this one, as it's kind of the only oscillator I use, and it, the same concept to an RSI, but yeah, we're definitely up here above the overbought line. So yeah, it's definitely possible. If our downside targets, first I'd be looking for the reaction down here to 507.75. Similar to the ES, we've got the daily fair value gaps here. So the pops created these gold boxes. So below we've got 456.50. We've got an order block line here. This one was right down there at 393 flat. We can see that's been an important level multiple times. So could be kind of does resistance work as support if we pulled back to that? But yeah, things are definitely looking a bit overextended to the upside.
Yeah.
We could take a look at the Russell. And let's see. So kind of similar there. Again, gold boxes, daily fair value gaps. Let's see, I had this daily order block line, basically rejection, part of this candle. This could have been a bear. This green candle could have been a bear that wanted to get in cheaper for an aggressive push down. So I marked up this line, appears to be important. And then, yeah, we're kind of, again, riding this possible resistance trend line that's kind of took a while to build out. If our first, if we broke below this 1943.50, I'd be looking for the reaction to the bottom of this daily fair value gap, 1931.3, and then we've got more room to the downside if we have to fill that in. If we pop this trend line to the upside, next I would be looking at the reaction to that 1987.10. So kind of just going to see what we get. I mean, we've been talking about this week, the flow into the small caps has just been ridiculously bullish. They've been hitting Snap, Mara, Riot, Rivian cooled off, but had a massive move. I'm sure
Carvana flow cooled off towards the end of the day yesterday.
Yep.
Which again, you have to scratch your head and be like, why was Carvana threatening to go and get 50? Why was that? How does that even?
Yeah. Meme life, I guess.
Yeah. So the whole meme life is like you can say that, but we all know retail can't push shit like that. Not
right.
like that.
That's true. Yeah, let's see. We can jump into some individual tickers. Coin was a daily inside bar, and sounds like they're getting downgraded. Let's see. So I had. Let's see.
It's entertaining because that's another one that was trading 60 and then pushing $1 billion and then pulling back a little bit.
Right. Yep. I mean, the range on coin is just ridiculous. So it's like this could see a nice move. Let's see. So I'm going to just adjust because it looks obviously different than it did last night with the downgrade news. So this is kind of the way I would do it. So I'd be looking for downside. I'd be looking at 84.15. For upside, I'd be looking at that 85.50. This does also kind of look like it could be flagging here, but that would be like some kind of FU to the downgrade analyst or something like that. But we'll see what we get. That'll be a good one to watch for flow for sure. Maybe something like this. Just kind of doing this on the fly. But yeah, we'll see what we get. We'll probably need some more taps on that line for those to be better looking trend lines. So we'll see what we get on that one. Daily inside bar. So break could get some nice momentum. And then let's see, Apple. Apple had a nice dark pool last night. I posted dark pools there in the room, and it looks like it's already getting a nice move up. This was a good one. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, I've been talking about 189.80, and then they hit it at 189.77. So that was kind of cool to see. The way I would do this would to switch it with the Apple Pop. This would just become the put trigger, and then looks like there's this is the spot where it stalled out pre-market. Just adjust that. So be looking short below 190.40, long above 191.1. And looks like it's trying to break out of this falling megaphone thing it had going on there. Kind of like what we saw in Tesla when we looked at Tesla the other day.
Mhm.
And I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
Yeah, so we have bank earnings tomorrow. I believe Tesla reports next week with a handful of others. From a flow standpoint, we saw, at the end of the day yesterday, they came in nailing Meta 315 calls, and looky there, Meta's 315ing in pre-market. We also saw some very curious NVIDIA 450 flow start banging through, and NVIDIA, pushing that 445 in pre-market. So it's like the flow continues to be something that if you're willing to pay attention, it will reap dividends. But yeah, it's like you look at NVIDIA, you look at Meta, and that NVIDIA chart, it's like you put that thing on a weekly, and it's like wow, it's like how does that happen? But it's happening. It most certainly is happening. So that's how a lot of the flow went. We also saw a massive flow continuing to pound into China names. There was really no mercy for a period of time there, to where it was just like China ticker bang, China ticker bang. And that chart there that you have on NVIDIA, that was a flag that is breaking out over, basically regurgitated news in a lot of ways. As far as AI being a thing. Did you know AI was a thing?
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't know,
Yeah.
and it took 312 articles for me to finally get it. 311 articles telling me that it was important. I was like, no, this is probably not real. But this is the one that did it for me. So it is real.
Imagine if you had AI, you could have read like 200 articles instead.
This is true. This is true.
Could have had AI read the articles to you.
That too. Well, I think what inspired me the most was Kamala yesterday, where they're breaking it down that it's just 2 letters that are 2 words. And then it was like, wow, that's a thing. So obviously. All right, guys, you got anything else?
Nothing from me. Thank you.
I'm good.
All right. Everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for going through my technical adventure over here, trying to get this thing to go. That's all we have. Let's have a good day. We'll see you soon.
See ya.